You want to be successful, right? You want to make something of yourself. Well, let me tell you something. The road to greatness starts with one simple thing: acting like the person you want to be before you even get there. Look, I'm not talking about faking it. I'm talking about stepping into the version of yourself that you know is in you, even when the world hasn't recognized it yet. Every single day, you've got a choice. You can act like the person who's already got it figured out, or you can sit around waiting for some magic moment when everything falls into place. But here's the thing, there is no waiting. You've got to show up every day. You've got to show up in your work, in your attitude, in the way you carry yourself. You're not just working for the person you are right now. You're working for the person you're becoming. You've got to walk in the room like you've already earned the respect. Speak like you already have the knowledge. Work like you've already reached the finish line. You might not have the title yet, but that doesn't mean you're not on your way. You've got to put in the work, and it starts with making the decision that you're no longer going to be the person who's waiting for things to happen. You are the person who makes things happen. Your actions should reflect that. If you want to be strong, act strong. If you want to be wealthy, act like you're already successful. If you want to be respected, act with honor. Don't let your current circumstances dictate who you are. Who you are is determined by what you do, what you show up with, what you bring to the table. You have to become your own blueprint. You have to live it out every single day. It might be hard. It might feel uncomfortable at times, but that's how you know you're growing. That's how you know you're on the right path. You're not just dreaming about the person you want to be, you're becoming them right now. Acting like the person you want to be is not about pretending or creating a false image of yourself. It's about embodying the traits, behaviors, and mindset of the person you are striving to become long before you fully arrive at that destination. This is not a one-time action or a temporary shift. It's a commitment to consistency, resilience, and personal growth. The truth is, the life you want to live is often tied to the actions and choices you make today in the present moment. Success, fulfillment, and even self-respect are built on the small, consistent actions that reflect the person you want to become. If you aim to be a leader, act like a leader. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, start thinking like an entrepreneur now. You see, most people are waiting for external circumstances to change before they can step into the version of themselves that they aspire to be. They wait for a raise, a promotion, a successful project, or even a big break in life. But this kind of thinking puts you in a passive position where you're relying on external forces to determine your future instead of taking active control over it. The reality is, no one is going to hand you the person you want to become on a silver platter. You have to claim it. You have to show the world who you are going to be and back it up with your actions. It starts with your mindset. It's easy to get caught in the trap of thinking that you need to be a certain way before you can act that way. Many people believe they need to already have the title, the recognition, or the wealth before they can truly be the person they dream of. But that's backward thinking. The truth is, you can't wait to act like the person you want to become. You must act first, and in doing so, you'll create the opportunities and environment that will allow that version of yourself to thrive. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. The actions you take today plant the seeds for your future growth, and how you act in the present determines what kind of future you will create. If you want to be the best, act like the best, even when no one is looking. So what does it mean to act like the person you want to be? For one, it means developing the right mindset. If you want to be successful, start thinking like someone who has already achieved success. This isn't about deluding yourself, it's about training your mind to think in ways that promote growth, opportunity, and action. For example, successful people don't waste time making excuses. They focus on solutions, not problems. They think strategically, make decisions with clarity, and take consistent action toward their goals. The mindset of a successful person is proactive, not reactive. They do not let external events dictate their response to life. Instead, they take ownership and control of their circumstances. Developing the mindset of the person you want to be means you must let go of self-limiting beliefs. These are the thoughts and patterns that have held you back in the past. If you've ever told yourself, "I'm not good enough," or "I can't do that," then you are operating from a place of fear and doubt. These limiting beliefs trap you in a cycle of inaction and self-sabotage. If you want to be the person you aspire to be, you need to reject these beliefs. It's time to replace "I can't" with "I will," and "I'm not good enough" with "I am becoming better every day." This shift in thinking will help you step into the mindset of the person you're becoming. One of the most critical elements of acting like the person you want to be is showing up consistently. Consistency is key to building the habits and character of someone who is successful. Think about it. The most successful people didn't get there by showing up once in a while or by doing things half-heartedly. They showed up day in and day out, rain or shine. They pushed through the challenges, doubts, and setbacks. They committed themselves to the work, regardless of how long it took or how difficult it became. When you act like the person you want to be, you create a rhythm of action that reinforces your identity. It's about developing a routine that supports your goals and values. This routine should align with the habits of the person you want to be. For instance, if you want to be a great writer, then act like one by writing regularly. If you want to be a skilled athlete, act like one by training every day. If you want to be an inspiring leader, act like one by mentoring, guiding, and helping others. The actions you take will build your confidence, and your consistency will solidify your new identity. Another essential element is taking responsibility for your life. When you act like the person you want to become, you take full accountability for where you are in life. You don't blame circumstances, other people, or lack of resources. You take full responsibility for your choices, your actions, and your attitude. This is an empowering mindset because it gives you control over your own life. You don't wait for life to hand you opportunities. You create your own opportunities. You don't wait for someone to validate your dreams or ambitions. You believe in yourself and move forward with conviction. The person you want to become doesn't wait for the perfect moment. They don't wait for conditions to be just right. They act now. They take risks, even when they're not sure of the outcome. They put in the effort, even when the rewards seem far away. Acting like the person you want to be means having the courage to move forward despite uncertainty. It means trusting in your abilities, even when others doubt you, and staying committed to your vision, even when it feels like the world is not on your side. Acting like the person you want to be also involves being intentional with your time. If you want to be successful, then act like someone who values their time. Successful people don't waste their time on things that don't align with their goals. They are strategic in how they use their time and prioritize what matters most. They focus on the activities that move them closer to their goals and eliminate distractions. To act like the person you want to be, you need to set clear goals, break them down into actionable steps, and consistently work toward those goals. Your time is your most valuable resource, and how you use it will determine your future success. Another important aspect of acting like the person you want to be is surrounding yourself with the right people. The people you associate with have a tremendous impact on your mindset, behavior, and growth. If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, surround yourself with other entrepreneurs who inspire you, challenge you, and push you to grow. If you want to be a leader, Surround yourself with people who are already leaders, or people who have the potential to grow into leadership roles. Your environment has a direct influence on your behavior, so make sure you're surrounding yourself with people who uplift you, support you, and push you toward greatness. Finally, acting like the person you want to be means developing a strong sense of discipline and self-control. It's easy to get caught up in momentary pleasures or distractions, but successful people know how to stay focused on what truly matters. They understand the importance of delayed gratification and are willing to put in the hard work today in order to reap the rewards tomorrow. If you want to be the person you're striving to become, you must have the discipline to stay on course even when things get tough. You have to say no to the things that derail your progress and yes to the habits and actions that will take you where you want to go. In conclusion, acting like the person you want to be isn't about pretending to be someone else. It's about living with intention, embodying the characteristics and mindset of the person you want to become, and putting in the work day in and day out. It's about showing up, taking responsibility, being consistent, and making decisions that align with your future self. The key to becoming the person you want to be is not waiting for the right circumstances. It's about acting as if you've already become that person. By doing this, you create the life and the reality you've always dreamed of. Success, fulfillment, and self-respect are built upon the actions you take today in the present moment. What this means is that the future you want to create doesn't just come from the dreams you have or the aspirations you set. It is shaped by the choices you make now, by the steps you take every single day, by the way you show up to life, even when no one is watching. Success is not some distant destination that you will arrive at once you have the right circumstances, wealth, or title. It is the accumulation of all the decisions, actions, and habits you build from this point forward. The way you live right now will determine the person you will become tomorrow. Every choice you make, no matter how small it may seem, is a building block in the foundation of your future. You cannot wait for success to find you. You must go out and get it. You can't expect things to fall into place if you aren't actively shaping your life in the direction you want it to go. If you want to be successful, you need to live as though you already are. The decisions you make today, the habits you form, the attitude you carry, the mindset you adopt, all of this determines the life you will lead. This is why it is so crucial to act like the person you want to become. The process of becoming that person begins in the present. Your thoughts, your actions, your discipline, it all begins now. When you act like the person you want to be, you align yourself with the future version of yourself that you desire. You start to mold your character, your skills, and your mindset into what you envision. Your current actions directly shape the trajectory of your life. The truth is, you cannot separate who you are from what you do. Your actions are a direct reflection of your beliefs, your values, and your commitment. If you say you want to be successful, but your actions don't back it up, then you're not truly committed to that goal. Success isn't just a dream you have, it is the result of consistent effort, discipline, and a steadfast belief in your own potential. You must act as if you are already living that success, acting as though you already have the things you are striving for. When you start acting like the person you want to be, you begin to manifest the future you desire. It is not about waiting for the perfect moment or the right opportunity to come along. Opportunities will not just present themselves, you have to create them. You have to step into your future now, not when the timing seems right or when you feel more qualified or experienced. You must act boldly with confidence and take full ownership of your life. The key to acting like the person you want to become is making sure that every action you take is intentional. When you start aligning your actions with the person you want to be, you become more disciplined. You recognize that everything you do counts, whether it's the way you spend your time, the people you choose to associate with, the way you handle your responsibilities, or how you approach your personal growth. Everything matters. Each decision is either moving you closer to your goals or pushing you further away. One of the most important parts of acting like the person you want to become is understanding that you are in control of your life. When you stop waiting for external validation or circumstances to change before you make a move, you take ownership. You become the architect of your own future. You stop blaming others or your environment for where you are in life. You understand that it is up to you to make the changes you need to achieve the success you desire. You stop making excuses and start taking action. This is where many people get stuck. They wait for something outside of themselves to change before they take the first step. But success doesn't wait for the perfect conditions to line up. It doesn't wait for the economy to improve or for people to give you permission to succeed. Success is about being proactive and stepping up, regardless of the circumstances. It's about acting now and putting in the effort day by day. You must also understand that acting like the person you want to be requires you to adopt the mindset of that person. Success starts with your beliefs. If you want to be successful, you must think like a successful person. A successful person doesn't wait for opportunities, they create them. They don't make excuses or focus on the problems, they focus on solutions. They don't waste time complaining about their situation. They take ownership and work with what they have to get ahead. The way you think shapes the way you act. If you think like someone who is already successful, your actions will align with that thinking. You will approach challenges with a solution-oriented mindset. You will work hard every day, even when it's difficult. You will stay focused on your goals, even when others doubt you. You will invest in your own growth, your own development, and you will not allow fear or failure to dictate your course. A successful mindset allows you to keep going even when things aren't perfect, because you know that your future success depends on your ability to stay persistent, disciplined, and focused. The actions you take are a direct reflection of the mindset you adopt. If you think like a failure, your actions will match that thought pattern. But if you think like a winner, your actions will follow suit. That's why it's crucial to act in alignment with the person you want to be. It's not just about pretending to be someone else. It's about stepping into the person you know you can be. It's about cultivating a mindset that is in harmony with your goals and acting accordingly. Another essential part of acting like the person you want to become is being intentional with your time. Time is the most valuable resource you have. You cannot waste time waiting for things to fall into place or for opportunities to come to you. Time must be spent strategically. If you want to be successful, you need to manage your time in a way that reflects your goals and values. Successful people are intentional with their time. They prioritize the activities that will move them forward and eliminate distractions. They understand that time is limited and they use it wisely. If you want to be successful, you must stop wasting time on things that don't align with your future goals. You must learn to say no to distractions and commit to the actions that will lead you to where you want to go. Every hour, every minute, every second counts. Don't waste it on things that won't serve you. Success also requires a certain level of discipline. When you act like the person you want to become, you develop the discipline to stay focused on your goals. You do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. You push yourself to keep going even when the road gets tough. Discipline means doing the work day in and day out even when you're tired, when you're frustrated, or when you feel like giving up. It's in these moments that your true character is revealed. When you act like the person you want to be, you develop the resilience to keep going even when things aren't easy. You understand that success is not about instant gratification. It's about putting in the work, making sacrifices, and staying committed to the long-term vision. One of the most powerful aspects of acting like the person you want to become is the ability to stay consistent. Consistency is what separates those who succeed from those who don't. It's easy to take action when you feel motivated, but it's the people who can show up every day, even when motivation fades, that achieve lasting success. When you act like the person you want to be, you build consistency into your life. You develop habits that support your goals, and you make sure that every single day you're taking steps toward your future. It doesn't matter if it's small steps or big ones. What matters is that you keep moving forward. The journey to success is built on the small, consistent actions that you take every day. Whether it's waking up early to work on your goals, reading a book to expand your knowledge, or taking time to reflect and plan, these daily habits add up over time. They create the momentum you need to succeed. If you want to be the person you aspire to be, you have to act now. You have to take the first step and keep moving forward, even when it's hard. You cannot wait for the perfect conditions or the right moment. The right moment is now. Act as if you are already the person you want to become, and your actions will create the reality you desire. One of the most critical aspects of acting like the person you want to become is understanding that you are in control of your own life. Too often, people feel like their circumstances are the reason they cannot achieve their dreams. They blame external factors, where they were born, the family they come from, the opportunities or lack thereof available to them. But the truth is, no matter what your starting point is, the most powerful force in your life is your ability to take responsibility for your actions, your choices, and your future. When you act like the person you want to become, you stop making excuses. You stop blaming other people or the circumstances around you. You stop waiting for the perfect opportunity, the perfect moment, or the perfect set of conditions to make a move. Instead, you take full ownership of your situation and your life. You accept that what you do today will shape the life you live tomorrow, and you take responsibility for that. There's an immense amount of freedom that comes from taking ownership of your life. When you realize that you are in charge, that you have the power to shape your own destiny, you become unstoppable. You stop playing the victim in your own story and start playing the hero. When you act like the person you want to be, you take charge of your narrative. You become the author of your own life, rather than letting external forces dictate who you are and what you can achieve. This mindset is empowering because it shifts the focus from external factors to internal action. It puts you in the driver's seat and removes the sense of helplessness that so many people feel when they blame their circumstances. This sense of ownership is not about denying the challenges or difficulties you may face. It's about recognizing that those challenges don't define you. They are simply obstacles to overcome. When you take responsibility for your life, you accept that setbacks are a part of the journey. Instead of complaining about your circumstances or wishing for things to be different, you focus on what you can control. You focus on how you can respond to the challenges that come your way. This shift in perspective is crucial because it puts you in the position of power. Rather than seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance, you become someone who takes action, even when things are tough. To take responsibility means to acknowledge that your choices, your actions, and your mindset all contribute to the outcome of your life. If you want to become successful, it starts with taking responsibility for the decisions you make today. Your actions today create your reality tomorrow. If you want to change your life, it begins with changing your habits, your mindset, and your behaviors now. Success doesn't come from waiting for something outside of yourself to change. It comes from taking responsibility for the way you live your life, the way you approach your goals, and the way you act. Taking responsibility also means letting go of the need to blame others. When you take ownership of your life, you stop looking for others to validate your efforts or to give you permission to succeed. You stop making excuses for why you can't achieve what you want. If you want to be successful, you cannot rely on the actions or decisions of others to determine your fate. You can't wait for someone to hand you the life you want. Instead, you take ownership of your journey and make the decisions that will get you closer to where you want to be. It's easy to blame other people for our shortcomings or failures. We often point to the actions of others or the environment around us as the reason we aren't where we want to be. But in reality, it's not what others do or what's happening in the world that determines our success. It's how we respond to those situations. Success is determined by how we choose to take action in the face of adversity. When you act like the person you want to be, you take responsibility for your decisions, no matter how difficult they may be. You stop waiting for others to validate your worth or your potential. You become your own source of motivation, your own source of strength. In addition, taking responsibility means becoming proactive in your life. Being proactive means that you don't wait for things to happen to you. You make things happen. You don't sit back and wait for opportunities to fall into your lap. You go out and create opportunities for yourself. You don't wait for the perfect moment to act. Instead, you take consistent steps every day to move forward, even when things aren't perfect. When you act like the person you want to become, you stop reacting to life and start taking initiative. You understand that you have the power to shape your reality with the choices you make and the actions you take. One of the biggest obstacles to taking responsibility for your life is fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of making mistakes. But here's the thing, failure is part of the process. Failure is not something to be feared, it's something to learn from. The most successful people in the world have failed countless times, but they don't let those failures define them. Instead, they use failure as fuel for growth. When you take responsibility for your life, you don't let fear stop you from acting. You acknowledge that mistakes and setbacks are part of the journey, but you don't let them prevent you from moving forward. Taking responsibility also means being accountable for your actions. It means not only owning up to your successes, but also acknowledging your mistakes and learning from them. Accountability is a key part of growth. When you act like the person you want to be, you hold yourself accountable for the decisions you make and the actions you take. You don't make excuses for your failures or try to deflect blame onto others. Instead, you own up to your mistakes and use them as opportunities to learn and improve. It's easy to avoid accountability because it requires vulnerability and honesty. But the truth is, accountability is one of the most powerful tools for personal growth. When you take responsibility for your actions, you gain clarity about what's working and what's not. You learn from your mistakes and make better decisions moving forward. Without accountability, you risk repeating the same mistakes over and over again. When you act like the person you want to be, you recognize that taking responsibility is not just about owning your successes. It's also about owning your failures and using them to fuel your growth. Furthermore, taking responsibility means prioritizing your personal development. When you act like the person you want to be, you are constantly working on improving yourself, your skills, your mindset, your habits. Personal growth is an ongoing process. If you want to be successful, you need to take ownership of your own development. You cannot rely on others to shape your future for you. You are the one responsible for your own growth. This means making the time to invest in yourself, whether it's through reading, learning new skills, or seeking feedback. It's about taking proactive steps to ensure that you are continually growing, evolving, and improving. Finally, taking responsibility for your life means that you are not afraid to set big goals and take massive action. Many people limit themselves because they fear the potential for failure. But when you take responsibility for your future, you recognize that you are capable of achieving great things. You set ambitious goals and work relentlessly toward them, even when the road is tough. You don't wait for permission to dream big or achieve greatness. You own your vision and take the steps necessary to bring it to life. When you act like the person you want to be, you stop waiting for someone else to create your future. You take ownership of your dreams, your goals, and your actions. You understand that the life you want is within your reach, but it's up to you to make it happen. You take full responsibility for the direction of your life, and you make the decisions today that will shape the person you will become tomorrow.